Good evening, everyone. James Hicks here from Hicks New Media and Infotainment News. We are doing a special segment of Infotainment News Live. Tonight, I'm joined by my good friend, Mr. Kyle Weirefelt. Kyle, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here. This is good stuff.
Thank you, sir. Tonight, with everything that's going on in the country, Kyle came to me and said, let's do a session talking specifically about all of the ballot initiatives, everything that's going on in this election cycle, right? There's so much going on from emotional perspective, right? From the candidates, from what's going on in our local jurisdictions, school boards, things about our communities, things of that nature. Finding our polling places, all of that stuff that's wrapped around an election cycle. I thought we thought it'd be good to get together and actually have this discussion and have some regular dudes and anyone else who wants to join in, obviously, because I've shared this out on Facebook, on Twitter, and on a number of social media sites. But let's engage and interact. Kyle and I both have our handy dandy voter guide.
Yes.
Looked at it for a long time, looked at it quite a bit as well today, and I still got a headache, just to be frank and to be honest with you. But there's still a lot of things that need to be looked at, and I'm not sure all of our voters understand what's at stake in terms of our election cycle right now. Not just the presidency, right? I mean, yeah, that could be a whole week worth of conversation right there, but we were going to focus specifically on what's happening in our neck of the woods, California propositions, measures, and things of that nature. Kyle, what do you think about that?
Yeah, same for me. There's so many. What do we have? 18 ballot measures just in the state, let alone local ones. And how many of the electorate? What's the percentage of the electorate really know all 18 of those really well and can provide an educated vote on each of those? So
that's a good point. The educated vote. That's a good statement. Yeah.
Everyone gets a right to vote, but is your vote based on your knowledge of the subject? And I admit I'm guilty of it myself. So I'm not necessarily calling others out on that. So
a lot of times
that's why we're here.
A lot of times we'll vote because we see the sign in someone's yard and we see so many of them. Well, maybe that's who I should vote for because it looks like they got the majority of the community. That's not always the truth, all right? So that being said, where would you like to go, man? Let's.
We could. We're both Placer County.
Yeah.
We could go with. My thought would be maybe do the measures, state, then the local ones, and then all the various representatives.
Oh my goodness! Now you got a lot of stuff to talk about there. I don't have my glasses on, so I'm gonna have to.
So I probably maybe we start with state. We go 51 through what is it? 60 what? 61? No, more than that. 51 through 67, and then we just have in Placer County we just have D&M, right? Other than that.
Right. So let's try this. I preloaded some 1-minute descriptions of each of those propositions into the webcast here. So let's see if I can get this to work. So it'll be 60 seconds, and then we'll hear this kind of description and different to KCET, and after that we'll have a conversation.
I like it.
Okay. Did you hear that?
No, I didn't hear it. I was about to tell you. I thought it loaded.
Dude, I'm sitting here. I'm listening to it. I thought maybe every.
Oh, I should have said I don't hear anything earlier. I was getting ready. It's about.
So that didn't work, but that's all right. So okay, back to let's do it manually, and what I can do, I can probably edit that out to the session. You gotta love live TV, man. That's what it's all about, right? So Prop 51, school construction bond funding for K-12 schools and community college facilities. Should California authorize $9 billion in general obligation bonds for construction of K-12 public schools, charter schools, vocational schools, and community colleges? Thoughts?
I guess I'm someone who is a big proponent of public education and facilities. Anything that enhances the education of our youth, I think, is an investment for all of us. So I think you're making an investment in yourself, whether you have kids or don't have kids. If you're doing something to help bring our children to become more knowledgeable and be leaders down the road, whether it be in business or politics or medicine or education. So I support it.
I'm kind of in agreement, right? I was reading it through, and again, we're both very close to what's happening in our local school districts. Full disclosure here. My wife works for one of the large school districts in an administrative facility, so kind of get the background in terms of what's good or what's going on about things in the education arena from that perspective. So. There hasn't been really much done to build and take care of our schools in a long time in this area, in about a decade. So any funds, anything that's going to be put aside to make that environment, that learning environment better. I mean, I've got kids same grades as you, right? So one just a little bit older, but I got freshmen in high school and a seventh grader. So as they continue to grow, so many different types of things are going to happen, and just if they don't have the right tools to be successful, it just kind of scares me.
Yeah, I'm with you there. There's people that complain that say we just keep throwing more money in education, but the quality's not improving, and I don't even know if that statement is true. The people that say that, but I do believe that we do need to continue to improve the opportunity for providing education and technology for our students. So
yeah, agreed. All right, I think we got a good clip going here, right?
All right.
I'm watching the analytics, and I'm seeing that folks are looking at it. We've got some traffic going, but no one's brave enough to get on camera and speak. Let me see if we got anybody in the chat room. Hospital fees, proposition number 52. Medi-Cal hospital fee program. Should California permanently lock into place an existing fee imposed on most private hospitals? It would be nice to have someone in that industry, right? To talk about that.
Yeah. It would.
You know what I mean? Because I'm coming from the technology side. You're coming from almost you're coming from the fitness and from the from that perspective, right? And
right. I just don't have the medical side and the hospital admin.
What? Not yet. Right? Pretty soon.
Hospital ad. That's right. So there's I guess the concern is the hospital. Was it actually? It's not hospitals. The private hospitals are having to pay into this. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
Private hospital to provide funding for lower income.
Exactly.
Healthcare.
It's a fee that is set aside right now where the hospitals still pay for lower income individuals to get health care. So
okay.
It's one of those things. Are we a better community and a better society when everyone is taken care of from a healthcare perspective, or do we what do we do, right? What makes more sense, right? Is it more it costs more to have folks always going to the ER and folks that are sick because they don't have the right medicine, because they don't have whatever care, or does it make more sense to have the hospitals subsidize, right? So some of that care for folks who may not have medical, dental, vision, those types of things from a benefits perspective from their employer.
From what I understand, it's been in place as the model that's proposed here since 2009, and the people for it is saying it's run smoothly. I didn't see significant opposition to this one.
Okay.
So it's kind of if it's not kind of, my thought is from I guess last 7 years we've been doing what this proposes. It's proposed to lock it in, right? And kind of, if it's not broken, don't fix it.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
So
what would you like to talk about? What on the wonderful voters guide, which was all of, hold on, let me stop there, right? We've got all of 16 pages worth of goodness here to talk about. We could talk about everything from taxes to terrorism to marijuana to condoms. That's right.
We have lots of good stuff in California. So, all right. So 52, we talked about, neither of us, again, this goes back to how educated are we as voters?
Yeah.
To decide on these things. And it gets you wondering, at what point did our legislature, did things get handed? I'm getting philosophical here for a minute. Did our legislature that we vote for and elect, who are supposed to, we entrust with making these decisions,
right,
and then they get sent to us, who basically probably a majority of Californians vote on these based on commercials they see while they're watching sitcoms.
Yeah, yeah.
So anyway.
That's all right. This is soapbox time. That's all right. Keep talking.
There we go. So that's my soapbox is, 52, it seems that if the little bit I know about it, I'd vote for it. But, there's the devil's in the details, as they say.
Devil's in the details. Let's
where do you want to go?
Let's go kind of decisive here. I mean, let's stir up some controversy here. Yeah, let's do that. That's what I do. I like to poke and prod. I don't even, let's see.
Death penalty. That ought to give.
That's what I was looking at. 62.
All
So
right.
death penalty repeal. Should California repeal the death penalty and replace it with life imprisonment without the possibility of parole?
And James, just before we jump into this one, isn't there another death penalty one on here? I don't know if it's a counter to it, but there's one that's almost opposite. It's one that says make the person die faster, basically.
So Prop 66.
Make it simpler. The
And
process.
so the way that's written is probably the wrong words to use, but it's appealing to me. So Prop 66, death penalty procedures. Should California speed up the death penalty process by putting limits on inmates' appeals?
Yes.
All right. So I'll tell you something. I am a proponent of the death penalty.
All right.
If it was put into my shoes and something happened to my family and someone did something that I'd want the maximum sentence to be put down on that that individual. So I put myself into a situation right, if it was ever to happen to me. So that's where I'm coming from on this. And my thought is, speed up the procedures, yeah, because I've heard that appeals and things of that nature can go on for years, decades for the most part, right? So I'm definitely believing that needs to be sped up.
Okay. So I guess my whole thing is, as some even governors, some even conservative governors have talked about of other states, when they've done a lot of research, they've found that the death penalty, there's been mistakes. And someone's been they were actually proven innocent after these innocence projects groups came and did a lot of research on those particular cases. And then there's also, is it a proportionally equal non-discriminatory sentence? And there's other folks that say that's not the case either. That those with less resources would be more likely to get the death penalty than someone that maybe has more chances to defend themselves.
Right.
So, and also people that have had, and I totally get the perspective of if something happened to your own family member. I really understand how hard that would be. Actually, I probably don't understand how hard that would be because I haven't gone through it. But I can understand why someone would think that way.
Yeah.
If anything happened to your loved one, but the thing I always say to people, so now I'll say right there, I'm against the death penalty for two reasons, and one of them is that if the killing of the person that killed my loved one doesn't bring my loved one back. That vengeance whether it's justice or not, it doesn't bring back someone, and so I guess I'm not an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth guy. And then right now, this probably goes to why people want Prop 66 passed, is the actual cost of administering the death penalty is much higher than life in prison without the possibility of parole.
I got you.
So it's more expensive right now, and I guess the 66 maybe but again, and then now going back to a ethics thing, I don't know how you don't allow an appeals process for something that's so serious as death.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's me.
I love it. I love it. And so even looking 62, the death penalty repeal, looking at who's kind of for it, against it.
Yeah.
For the measure, you've got former President Jimmy Carter, you've got Netflix CEO Reed Hastings. Was he the only other person that they could put in there? But okay. They're selling it to the millennials. That's what it is.
That's right.
By putting in the Netflix CEO, that's what they're doing. And those against it would be San Bernardino County District Attorney, the Peace Officers Research Association of California. So, yeah, it's very divisive, right? It's very divisive. So we will see, I guess, in a couple of days how the majority votes on that.
Oops.
You didn't drop your beer, did you? Don't drop your beer. Okay.
All right, I'm back. Lost the cord. My stance on the death penalty is I think we're closer to our international allies when we don't have it than when we do. I think we're a lot more line with the people that we consider ourselves to be allies with.
I agree.
So anyway. All right, that's 62 and 66. That kind of covers both of them.
Look at that there. We're just checking them off the board there. Why can't everything, from a political perspective, be this easy? Because we're just going through it. We're making laws, making rules, just making it happen.
That's just way we can decide things. But what about the firearms one? That one's kind of interesting because
that is interesting. Talk to me. What are your thoughts about that? I'll read it and I'll set the stage, and then I'll let you interject.
Yeah, please do.
Gun ammunition control. Should California institute additional restrictions to ammunition and firearms? Talk to me. Talk to us.
Well, to the famous noted politician Chris Rock said that if we charge $1,000 for a bullet, there'd be a lot less people killing each other. So
I love it.
Anyway, Okay,
Quoting Chris Rock.
So
it gets no better now, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I don't know this one well enough. I know that the people that the gun rights people are definitely against it, and I'm not necessarily. I have no problem with the Second Amendment, but I also think the Second Amendment allows for some moderation of what kind of firearms people can have.
Exactly.
So background checks, I just don't get why we would not have background checks for any sale of the device designed to kill people.
Yeah.
That one, whether this goes on overreach on ammunition, I don't know. I guess I'd need to look at it further.
Yeah. I think that there needs to be a better system in place now than there is. A lot of folks in my extended family, they're hunters.
Yeah.
So they've got guns and they use them properly. They've got bows and arrows. They've got shotguns. They've got
Sure.
So again, a lot of my folks in my extended family have that. I mean, even hell, my son, is interested in knives, and that's all from Boy Scouts, right? Going out there and doing whittling. So he's interested in that kind of thing. We like to go out and do clay shooting and things of that nature. I believe there needs to be some additional controls. I do believe, as you also mentioned, that background checks are should happen and should be enforced. Restrictions in terms of I can't just go to Walmart tonight, pick up a 9mm and walk out with it this evening, right? There should be something in place,
right,
that kind of limits me on a whim. If I have I'm just saying, if I have a bad night or something, I'm going up to the store and picking up this Glock and walking out the store, not necessarily going to do anything bad with it, but again, just there should be some type of rules and regulations that I do believe also strongly in the Second Amendment, but again, there needs to be some control when it comes to, because there's so many different types of weapons out there now. Right. I mean, again, when you've got these large clips in some of these weapons now, I mean that needs to be somewhat looked at and regulated. Now, I agree. From a different perspective, so I'm gonna bring in kind of a technology aspect to this. I'm looking at what's happening now with this 3D printing, right? So now people can actually print a 3D weapon. And you can print obviously a lot of good things, a lot of whatever the case can be as well, but with 3D printers. But now I've seen where people are actually buying a 3D printer, printing a 3D gun or knife or whatever the case may be, and it's completely undetectable, right? And you're jumping on an airplane or something, and it really is just a piece of plastic, but it's a deadly weapon.
It's a weapon.
So so you wonder how that's going to fit in as well as technology moves forward, where something like that fits in with this particular proposition. So
technology always moves faster than law, right? And so that's a challenge, and this one looks, as I look at a lot of them, it's people, and these to me are things that even the NRA has supported. Is someone is found in mental illness, we don't want them to have weapons. Restraining order. There is evidence, from what I understand, that people who have restraining orders against them have eventually sometimes killed that estranged person. So to me, it makes sense. If a court has ordered a restraining order against someone, that they have enough evidence to decide that person's a danger to someone else.
Yeah.
And so without this proposition, people with restraining orders can still go buy a gun, and maybe so I guess again I go back to evidence. What's been the evidence of people with restraining orders committing violent acts? And if there's enough evidence that it has, then I think it can justify itself.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Good points, man. Good points.
They've got assault or battery, convicted of assault or battery. That could be. You might end up in a bad situation, assault or battery, and then you can't buy a gun. I can see that'd be a little rough. If one mistake takes you off the ability to buy a gun. Yeah. So, but yeah. But then again, do you want guns in the hands of someone who's likely to commit assault or battery?
There you go, right? It's always that weird catch-22 or that situation where you don't want to infringe, but if you mess up, well, we got to slap your hand a little bit here once in a while because you've done something you shouldn't have done. So you got to limit it in what you can do.
Right. All right, so I guess I admit right now I've got to read that one more. Do we look at who's for and against that one?
Let's see. Yes, for the measure. Supporters would be Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, the Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence, and the California Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Who's against the measure is the NRA, obviously. And the California Rifle and Pistol Association, and the California State Sheriff's Association. So,
I had an interesting conversation with a Roseville police officer about guns. Mm-hmm. And the difference between what I've noticed, just in little stuff I've read, the different approach it seems between sheriff and police on guns. Yeah. And they're
really? Okay.
This is very general, and there could be a lot of police officers that may disagree with the statement I'm going to make right now from just one sample size. But police officers generally, they want, if there's something happens at a location in a city, they want a witness to call it in and get the hell out of the way, mm-hmm. and let the police come in. Whereas sheriffs cover a lot of territory. They're out in the country. They've got these rural areas. What's the word I'm looking for? Not unincorporated areas. Mm-hmm. And they like it when the community takes care of things themselves. That's a very general term of how a summary of sheriff versus police.
Yeah.
And because a police officer, his perspective, he comes on a scene, and you've got the good citizen that's carrying their concealed weapon, and there's a scene where there's someone with a weapon that's maybe doing bad. How do they know which is the good person, which is the bad person?
Yeah. Huh.
So they don't know. So whereas if someone just makes the call and then as a witness, but isn't trying to get involved from a firearm standpoint, then it makes their job a lot easier. They're more protected, and the people are more protected.
Right.
So anyway, that's a perspective on guns of the citizenry having guns.
Good stuff.
Police for sheriff.
Hey, before we move forward, I want to make sure, just from a technical side, are you seeing the video switch every time you talk versus when I talk? Are you seeing that?
No, I just see you.
Oh, that's no good, dude. You need to see yourself too.
I see myself, but I don't see you. So it's supposed to be voice activated?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So if you look down at the bottom of the bottom right, and you see a picture of you and a picture of me, make sure neither one of us is highlighted with a white box around us.
Well, you are.
Okay, so click on me, to whereas I'm not highlighted.
No, you're not.
Okay. And so I've actually got another screen going with the session, and it's flipping back and forth. But you don't want to just look at me the whole time. You need to see you too. And
well, I see me in the little guy, the little spot.
you need to be
sure that I'm there
in the big screen. There you go. Now see, when you speak now, it should flip back and forth.
All right, I'm talking now. Hello. Let's see. What if I do this? Well, I just did that myself though.
Yeah, make sure that neither one of us is highlighted with a white box around us. So just click.
That did it.
There you go.
No one's highlighted now. No one is now highlighted.
That's what I do. Like a little technical consulting there. I'll send an invoice in the morning. Actually, as I see your son walking to school, I'll just drop an invoice with them, and
that's perfect.
We'll be good. Let me see here. Where to go next? Because these things can be, again, decisive. These things can be, they're not that confusing though this year, to be honest with you. I mean, yeah, there's some definitive lines in the sand, I think, with some of these.
All right. Well, that makes it easy.
But
what about 58, English proficiency?
58, is that the bilingual? Let's see here.
Yeah,
bilingual education. Should California remove the restrictions to bilingual education? I am actually torn on this. English is the language of the country, and you need to know English, but you need to be a well-rounded person, and America in and of itself is a huge melting pot. So you've got every culture, dialect, every ethnicity, everything, and it's a great thing is here. So my thought is, why not make education as accessible to everyone who's here as much as you possibly can, if that makes sense.
Amen. I don't know why we'd want to put more restrictions on getting people educated. How's that?
That's it. I'm there. Boom. Put it in, there you go. I'll use what's his name? The put it in the bucket and send it to the line. Who was that guy again? That's
all right. So we're against 58. All right. Well, I shouldn't say that. We're just talking about him. We're not voting right now. Just trying to let people know.
Speaking of that, so I saw something, and this falls right into place with what we're talking about. So many people are on Facebook. Half the planet is on Facebook. When I logged on this morning, there was actually a screen that popped up that said, how are you voting? Here is a walkthrough kind of the voting initiatives. So let me go back to it, because I started doing that, and I thought that was very, very cool what Facebook was doing. Essentially, it had all of the candidates. It had a lot of the propositions as well. Based on your location, and the why yes, the why no, and a little bit of background. Here it goes. Yes, so your election. Facebook.com/election/your-plan, and it says get ready for election day, and really you just scroll down and you answer all the questions, from everything from the presidential race to U.S. Senate, U.S. Representative, State Assembly, and then again based on where your location is. So I've got Roseville City Council members, and then all the propositions, and it shows kind of the summary, the yes and the no's, and basically you can make your selections in Facebook. You can make them either private or public. You can share them with folks, and then what I'm gonna do, I'm really gonna print that out, and then fill out my ballot.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think again they've done a really nice thing, since so many people rely on that social platform. It's good to put all of this information together, because a lot of folks threw this away when it came in the mail, right? The voter guide, but more and more folks are spending more time on these social platforms. I still get all my news off of Twitter, right? That's just where I live. But so I think it's a great thing that they're doing. So yeah, check that out, folks. Facebook.com/elections/your-plan. And
get my pen out, write that down.
There you go. Look at that. Providing value here.
Nice. It's elections?
Yeah, elections.
/
Yeah, Facebook.com/elections/your-plan.
Okay.
and it'll be location specific for you as you log in, which is a good thing.
That's very cool.
So I've got a sign out in my front yard.
Oh yeah.
That my wife had me put up. And which one is it? Is it? Oh, jeez. Is it M or is it D? Oh my God. Hold on. Let me take a look here.
I'm guessing she did D, but either I would support either. So
let's see here. Oh, here we go. D would issue $96 million in bonds for Roseville Joint Union High School District infrastructure. Requires 55% to pass. Yes, that is the one that's in my front yard right now. So yes on D. Excuse my bias, but I still want to be able to get let into my own house.
Yeah, you better vote. Yeah, you'd be in trouble. You don't pump that one up.
Yeah, man. There you go. Yes on D. We've had that kind of discussion already about one of the other propositions. The schools, great schools out here, right? I mean, really phenomenal schools from an educational perspective, from the curriculum perspective. But the infrastructure needs to be updated, right? The fields, the rooms, the HVAC. It's just time to go ahead and put some sweat equity into the infrastructure of some of our schools. So
class size, I mean, adding
class size,
adding a school, right? Because
I mean, teachers have way too. I love teachers and just bless their hearts. I have no patience for even dealing with adults in what I do on a daily basis. But to have 30 plus 7th, 8th, 9th graders or whatever the case may be, all trying to focus and learn and do all that, and you're the one person up there in the front of the room trying to corral all of that adolescent energy. Oh my gosh, bless them. For one, they're not getting paid enough, and for one, and for two, the rooms are too big. So I'll leave it. What do you think about that?
I gotta say, I just give you always echo that and say dittos on that. Teachers have an incredibly challenging job, and if the class size increases and the resources decrease, then all the more difficult. So yeah. And the thing that I have a hard time with is the people that maybe don't have kids. Maybe they're 50 plus community, and they vote no on anything for education, and they're not really thinking about. I mean, it could even benefit themselves, their own property value, if their schools in their area provide a higher quality education. They actually benefit from that. So, anyway.
I agree. I mean, just insight for all the folks who are going to be listening to this offline. I mean, Kyle, we recently moved, and literally about 200 feet from us, they're building a new elementary school, which is going to be open next school year, and it looks phenomenal, right? It's going to be state of the art. They're going to have a park in front of it. They got the new school building, and the guys are out there just banging it out. So we need that infrastructure. We need that newness. I'm a big fan of new, but so it's kind of exciting to see that happening. But now it'd be selfish because I got a kid in high school, and the high school that she's in hasn't had any updates in a long time. So the first time we went and did kind of a parent counselor conversation, I'm looking up and I'm seeing water stain. I'm seeing just falling apart infrastructure. So, so yes on Measure D. I think I beat that into the ground there enough.
Yeah.
And hopefully my wife is listening and looking, and go team.
So since we just got local, so we stayed local for one more.
No, let's do it. All right. I'll follow your lead, man. Talk to me.
So we just go measure M.
I measure M there. Let's see here.
And that's the roads, that we all use every day. And I guess I'm a person who thinks that the cost of getting around is so cheap because of what what we pay all collectively as individuals to use roads. So I just don't get people who are against paying some taxes for the roads that they are able to use every day, and for Amazon to deliver their goods to them every day on those roads. I just my wife drives out Baseline Riego Road to work 5 days a week, and that's part of this project. And she has some horrible traffic days, and I'm on 65 every day, and that's getting worse and worse every day. That's my Measure M speech right there.
I'm gonna be selfish on this one too. I got a decent set of wheels, and I need these potholes fixed in my neck of the woods. I'm tired of racking my suspension on on these tore up roads, and it can't be that difficult. It really can't be. I mean, again, I don't work in that industry. I don't know how hard it is to lay down some asphalt and to lay down some new road improvements. But if we can make everyone drives, I mean, if there's a way that we can make some improvements in terms of transportation, and I'm getting into biking now too, so I'm out there in the bike lane. I need that fixed as well too, because I get a little nervous because there aren't enough bike lanes where I ride sometimes. So
you got to be defensive if you're out there on Fitiment. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. Fitiment, that shoulder's pretty small on Fitiment.
Yes, it is. Amen, brother. Amen, brother.
I'll take you on some tours. Glad to hear you're getting into cycling. I'll get you out there.
Okay. Me and Map My Fitness have become really good pals here. I almost did Strava, but that's a little higher end for me. I'm just a regular blue collar there, so I went with Map My Fitness.
I like it. All right. What do we got?
Let's go. Those were local. California. Let's see here. We got. I wish I knew more about some of the new folks that were running for specific office. Actually, I invited a couple of folks to join tonight. I guess their schedules didn't allow them to come, but I wanted some folks to join that were actually in the race. So check this out. I know one of my great friends is actually running for president as a other party candidate in the Humane Party.
On the ballot?
Yeah, so he's not one of the leading candidates, right? He would be kind of in the class or in the framework of kind of like a Jill Stein, right? So, but he's actually getting some great momentum. So Clifton Roberts is actually running for president in the Humane Party, and he's got a lot of good momentum, a lot of good conversations happening, and giving folks an alternative to all the heartache of the primary candidate. So I invited him tonight, but I think he was busy. He's out there on the campaign trail. That's what they're doing right now. They're out here. And,
I like it.
And Scott Alvord, Alvord, I believe is his name. He's running for.
I've got this in front of me. Where is it?
Let me see here. He is running for
City Council.
Is that City Council? Oh, is that right? I don't think that's right. You're making stuff up.
Roseville City Council. Yeah, right there.
I can't see that, dude.
We got a vote for. We got 3 there.
What page are you on?
I don't know. I'm on my.
You're making it up.
I'm on my ballot.
This is being recorded, dude. So you can't just make stuff up here. Okay, you're right.
It's all good. It's all good. I won't gloat.
All that being said, I bring his name up because apparently he's actually a neighbor. He lives 2 streets down from me. So, and he's the reason why I bring up the fact that you walk down the street and you see everyone's house and their lawn. It's got a lawn marker that has someone's name on it. So you're like, okay, well, maybe this person is the right person. But I would have been nice if he had been able to join tonight. But obviously, again, everyone who's running for any office is busy right now. This is kind of the bottom of the ninth for him, right? Use it, bring my sportsman. So yeah, again, and that's why my voice is kind of hoarse right now. I don't know if you can tell, because you know me, you know my voice, but I did a lot of screaming last night when my Cubbies
nice
made it happen. I was actually on the road coming back from a business meeting, and I pulled over on I-5 and just let out some rebel yells, dude. I was I was just so happy about what happened. So the voice has been gone most of the day.
Well spirited, good job, well done.
It was. So tell we allocated about an hour 60 minutes for this, and it's coming up to 10 minutes before. So I want to be cognizant of your time, but I think we are doing the right thing here, right? By going through these initiatives, talking about them, and being very candid about what our thoughts are from a personal perspective, right? Here we are, two guys, two fathers, two husbands, living in the community, talking about what's important to us, what we're going, how we're going to pull the lever here in a few days. Hopefully, again, it spurs some dialogue. I'll push this out onto a number of platforms. So again, folks at least have this conversation that they can look at and say, these guys don't have an agenda. They're literally just sitting here looking at the voters' guides and saying, well, what if? All right, so that's kind of what we're doing. There's a couple of others that I wanted to make sure that we at least discussed. Of course, in the corner of my eye, I've got the OKC and the Warrior game going. I want to see how Durant.
Oh, I can put that on right now too.
I'm trying to see how Durant and Westbrook how they exchange pleasantries at the beginning of the game, because that was always thought to be
that should be fun.
Hospital, bilingual, tobacco. Kind of talked about the criminal justice and the death penalty side. What do you think about this plastic bag ban? Is that necessary?
Well, I don't know if you've during Scouts. I don't know if maybe this is a girls. I don't know if you did this with Cub Scouts at all. Do we go to the ocean and pick up at the beach at all? Do you do one of those trips?
Yeah, did that.
And there's seem to be a lot of plastic bags there. And from what I understand, some of the sea life, those get thrown out and they're out in the ocean. The sea life. I've got probably about 15 now reusable bags. Some of them you get free when you go to an event and they give them out. Some of them we picked up from Trader Joe's, and those are pretty easy to have 5 or 6 of those just in the car all the time. So to me, I guess maybe it's almost like guns. Responsible people do just fine with guns. Mm-hmm. But the problem with the plastic bags is they're all over the place. And because some people, whatever, they go buy a sandwich at a Safeway deli and then they go out to the work site or whatever, and the plastic bags ends up in a waterway. My daughter just did this Nature Bowl thing. So she's, checking out the waterways and seeing these plastic bags in the waterways. So to me, it's if we can simply decrease that, then seems like a simple measure to have a positive impact. Paper bags, they'll break down. Paper bags. Well, our kids, James, they didn't have plastic bags. All they had was paper.
That's all it was. So there was no option paper or plastic.
We worked out just fine for getting the groceries home. So maybe sometimes going back is not a bad thing. And then we also have the reusable bags. So I guess I'm for it because there's just so much plastic out there.
That's a good perspective. So I see, and I'm glad we're doing this conversation because that's a great perspective because there's two out there, right? There's Prop 65, which is the carry-out bag sales. Should profits from carry-out bag sales go to an environmental fund?
Yeah.
And from what I understand, that one can't pass, must receive more yes votes than Proposition 67 to take effect if both measures pass. And Proposition 67 is the plastic bag ban, should voters uphold a law that bans single-use plastic bags in retail settings. But your dialogue, your conversation just now about from an environmental perspective and kind of stepping back and looking at it from that view really kind of opened my eyes in terms of that goes. So okay, so again, there we go.
And look at who wins on the the taxpayer. As much as people don't like overregulation,
yeah,
taxpayers actually win on no plastic bags because there's a cost to having to go pick up these streams.
Yeah.
Municipalities have to pay someone to go pick those up. Who pays for that? Taxpayers. So if we can take personal responsibility, people that are into personal responsibility should be into no plastic bags.
I love it
because it puts it on you.
I love it. All right, let's do one more, and let's see if we can get some conversation going on Proposition 64.
64, marijuana. That's an interesting one.
Right, that's a good, right? We rode the wave here. We rode the roller coaster, and we went through a ton of other conversations, and now we'll go on to the one is prohibition dead? Is
yeah.
That's kind of what it almost boils down to, right? So, Prop 64, marijuana legalization. Should California legalize marijuana under state law for use by adults 21 or older?
Yeah, and part of me says what's a potential revenue production for the state of California, right? In the billions of dollars, probably.
Yeah.
Because you're able to tax a legal good. And so my general initial thought overall is why not? Alcohol is legalized, as James is drinking his wine. And that's a drug that has.
Hey, hold on! I wasn't on camera when you only saw it.
Right. All right. Has a significant impact on lives and safety, but it's legal. We pay taxes on it, which is good. I enjoy a drink, but I'm also glad that it's taxed because there are medical costs that the state incurs from alcohol, for sure. So overall, generally, I'm not opposed to legalizing marijuana. However, I guess this proposition allows for some advertising commercials that kids would see that I don't really feel good about. So maybe a different proposition would be something. So I guess I've got mixed feelings about it.
So there's the dad of you coming out, right? Right.
That's right. That's right.
Right. So imagine if this came up when we were in our 18, 19, 20, whatever, right? But again, now it's a different mentality, different mindset. I think I'm in alignment with you, to be honest with you. I understand and I see the tax benefits of something like this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the tax revenue and the money that can come from this could be incredible. I mean, a lot of other things could be dealt with, right? We could fix those roads, we could fix those schools, we could do this, do that. Because I think if it happened and it passed, and there would be almost an explosion of the use.
Right.
But again, it's I'm thinking, the driving while using marijuana. I'm thinking of the effects that it would have on someone's mental capacity while they're doing something, right? Driving, performing some type of job, working on heavy equipment, or whatever the case may be. I just don't feel as comfortable from that perspective, and just by having it 100% by having it legalized, I see there's just too many negatives, too many cons to the pros.
And I guess we got Colorado and Washington, and it's definitely not all great things happening. I think it's very mixed.
Yeah.
There, and one of the things that's great about having 50 United States is let some of them be the test tubes for some of these things.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? Why rush it? And let's see what happens. And you can also learn more from these states where they have chosen to legalize it, and figure out how to develop laws and regulations for what's worked for them and what hasn't worked for them.
Right.
First.
I agree.
So again, I'm generally not opposed to it, because in my mind, I don't think there's any documentation that says marijuana is any worse for you than alcohol, and alcohol is very legal. So at least I haven't seen the documentation that says that yet. Probably less addictive than alcohol. And but again, I think I'm probably against this particular proposition. Yeah. So if I sound hypocritical in that statement, then I don't.
It's all good. Hey, that's all good. It's all good. We had one of my colleagues, I don't know if you know Lance. He I
know Lance.
He attempted to join in just now. Maybe we scared him off with the marijuana conversation, but I sent the message in the chat. Let's see if he comes back.
And there's and then there's the proposition that affects the least amount of people possible in the state of California, Proposition 60.
Let's see which one is
if
that.
There's a proposition that does not affect very many people, that this one is it.
60. Dude, I was
trying to get Lance back in.
Lance, get back on the line, dude. We want to talk about yeah, the guy that's got his own soccer team at home, right? The guy's got 5 kids. No, the condom requirement. Should adult film performers be required to use condoms during filming of sexual intercourse? Hey, you know what? I'm not gonna answer any questions. I'm gonna leave that there. I'm just going.
That's fine. We talked about that one.
What did I circled something? What did I circle? I said, answers in favor. So just kind of the synopsis there. The adult film industry has been negligent and it's not like it just really directly affects me. I don't know. But
that's what I said.
I'm gonna vote for it. I'm gonna vote because it's on the ballot. But I don't partake in the movie or this genre. Right? This isn't on my Netflix queue.
There you go.
So, whatever. Oh, wait a minute. There he is. Hold on. Let me straighten up. Lance Gitterland is joining, and he doesn't like it when I drink during these webcasts. So I should probably hide any beverage that I have.
I'm sure.
You do what you want, man.
Hey, Lance.
Hey, Kyle. How's it going?
Good.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay?
Can hear you fantastic there. We don't have your webcam going, so there you go. Oh, he's in his office. And
Nice.
I got my No Shave November going.
I cut mine off day one, and I'm starting fresh.
I'm trying to raise money. I'm trying to get some donations.
Is that right? You missed a November. Go ahead and do a plug. Yeah. Where's your link?
I'll be doing it later.
Okay.
Put something together.
Nice.
So you're talking about the ballot?
Yes, sir. We
lots of them.
Sitting here talking about everything on the California ballot and going over the propositions. We've shied away from the people, right? So who's running for specific offices and things of that nature. But we've looked at all the propositions and the measures and said, what do you feel? What do you think? And kind of giving just the regular, everyday person's perspective. So, I mean, Kyle and I have really had a pretty decent dialogue in terms of how do you feel? What do you think? Why is this important to you, or why is it not important to you? So, yeah,
Excellent. Well, hey, let me just listen in. I don't want to interrupt your dialogue, so thank you for letting me join in.
No, you're going to inject there.
Oh yeah, just maybe you guys can educate me a little. You both, I think, have been in Roseville longer than I have. Is when, other than the things that come in the mail, how do we hear about the school district, city council, high school district people's thoughts? I guess it's just on us to maybe research that. I mean, they probably speak and do coffees and things like that. Do you guys know anything? Have you guys ever been involved in the local races?
Not a whole lot, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the same boat. So anyway,
I will say that there has been some conversation on Nextdoor. So I don't know if you guys are subscribed to Nextdoor in the community.
Yes.
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right. There's some things that are happening from there, but I honestly, I've avoided it a little bit. But yeah, there's some chats that are happening there, but some of the folks are very far left or far right. So at the point I start blocking a lot of that conversation. But that's a place to have the dialogue, but nowhere I think like this, a forum where people can just get together and just talk.
I can read about all these propositions 51 through 66, but I really, on the people side, unless you talk to them, you don't really know. But that's just the nature of local races, right? I guess it's the person who gets the word out the most and is going to get our votes. But anyway. That's something on me, I guess, for future, to get to know our local officials more so I can do an educated vote on them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So and how
do you guys know where your polling place is?
I do.
Absolutely, I do. It's the same place all the time, but yeah.
Well, you've been in the same house and neighborhood for way before you had gray hair, so yeah.
Yeah, man. What is up with that? I've just been seeing that on the camera. I'm like, what?
Is that way you trying to load Google Effects there to try to kind of mask that and do a little snapshot filter?
Yeah, I was trying to find the lower thirds, man.
That is in the. I try to get Kyle to put that on there too. That's in the Hangout toolbox.
What are you trying to get me to put on?
Well, how I've got the lower third with my name. And,
right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I didn't get that. It looks good.
So you know where your polling place is. Let me ask this: are you going to? Let me ask two questions to both of you. Are you physically going to go to the polling place and vote, or are you a mail-in voter?
I'm going. I've mailed once, but other than that, I've always gone.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I will go.
Now, do you go and actually fill out the ballot there? Because I'm registered. What is it?
Absentee.
Remote? Yeah, absentee. So I'll just go in and drop it off in the box and get my sticker and that kind of thing.
I'll be in the booth.
See, the booth is a good thing. I missed the booth.
I'm just giving you a hard time.
I missed the booth.
I like the experience.
Yeah.
I like the experience going in there.
I'm with Lance.
Don't do the Timberlake thing there, right? And start doing selfies in the booth because you might get arrested for that.
Yeah, I guess it's illegal in California, but that's okay.
Don't do it. All right. So the next question is, are you taking your kids with you?
I have, and I probably will this time because it'll be 5:00 on Tuesday when I go, or so.
It's just it's more of a logistics thing, right?
No. Well, actually, they're old enough to stay home, so it'll be. Do you want to go? And I might get one. I might get none.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, that's a no for me.
Okay, there
Well,
you go.
you have to load the Suburban up with, or hold on, what is it now? What do you got?
Armada.
Oh, it's the Armada.
Nice. You go to Wood Creek Golf Course?
Yeah, I do.
That's right. Used to go. All right.
Maybe we should all vote at the same time, then go over the legends.
Yeah.
Watch the game, have a few beers, play some futsal. I'm just trying to set up some things here, just
sounds good.
try to build up the community. Maybe I should run for the office or something.
It's all about the community with James.
James, you should run for city office because I know a lot more about you than anybody else running.
Oh my God. I don't know if that's good or bad.
That's right.
No, but those are interesting questions because last year I took my son, I took Isaiah with me, and again it was just an absentee. I had him drop it in the bucket there and picked up my I voted sticker, and I think that's important for the kids to know, exercise that right. There's been so much that has happened in the past that where you didn't have the right to vote, or there's been whatever the case may be, right? But just having that ability to make your voice heard, I think it's good for the youth to see that. So I don't know.
Yeah, we've talked about it. The kids and I, we talk about who we're voting for and why, that sort of stuff, and the whole process. So they're engaged, but I'm probably just not going to take them with me. It's not a bad idea, though.
Soccer practice.
Yeah. True.
You're driving all over the California region. And so we could talk about Northern California here right now, Lance, because again, this is focus on NorCal. Shouts out, and we love the entire U.S., but right now all we care about is Placer County, the Yolo County. Who else?
Sutter.
That's about it. Oh, okay.
That county. We do live near Sacramento.
You joined late, sir. So I do want to ask you a question at least again, and Kyle, again, being cognizant of time.
Careful.
Well, I do want to. Depends on which proposition we go over. What's a good one for him, Kyle? What's a good one for him?
Oh, all right. Look at this. Let's get in.
All right, I'll do one. We didn't do this one. Let's talk about Prop 56, tobacco tax increase.
Okay. Yep.
Cigarette tax to fund healthcare, tobacco use prevention, research, and law enforcement. Should the state increase the excise taxes on tobacco products by $2? We'll start with you, Mr. Glowin.
Wow, that's a tough one. As a non-smoker, I'm thinking that's all right. But that's an interesting thing because admittedly those are engineered to be addictive, right? And so you are kind of putting folks in a bad situation. But I believe some of that money is supposed to go toward prevention and that sort of thing. So I think for the most part, it would be something I would probably vote for, even though I think that there's kind of a downside for those folks who are hooked. If the money's going to the right place, that's one I'd have to kind of read the details on. On the surface, It looks like something I would say, yeah, that sounds like a good idea, but I'd want to make sure I understood how the funds were being allocated and who was monitoring that before I voted for sure.
I think that's the perfect point what you just said, because I'm with you. The research shows that when you raise taxes on cigarette smoking goes down, which I think the three of us think is a good thing, because cigarette smoking increases cost. There's a cost on the taxpayer for medical care costs for people for cigarette related illness. But that being said, from a little bit I've read about 56, just to Lance's point, it sounds like the allocation may not be going for its intended benefit. So So
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I might vote no on it as well. But I
You
need
know,
to look
looking
in,
at the argument in favor, you know, supporters, California Association of Hospitals and Health Systems, American Heart Association, California Dental Association, organizations like that, and those against the measure would be Philip Morris.
No way.
And R.J. Reynolds.
That's
Now, you know, I'm actually honestly in favor of this, you know, and from a guy who I don't smoke, but you know, I enjoy a cigar like once a year. I haven't had a cigar in so long that it's ridiculous, but you know, I enjoy a cigar either on my birthday, New Year's Eve, or whatever the case may be. But I'm actually in favor of this, and especially for the preventative programs. I mean, these e-cigarette things. I mean, I think that's just deadly. I think that's just bad crack, and someone needs to educate, especially the kids, on that. I mean, I don't think that has, again, bias, my side, my opinion. Hell, it's my show, so I'll say what I want to say. But I think that stuff is just bad, and folks need to be educated that you know that couldn't be addictive as well. You know? So,
but I'm not sure if that's considered in this particular.
It is. So yeah,
So
what it would do is
really?
change the definition of
Guess I better read it,
other
like I said.
tobacco products to include e-cigarettes that contain nicotine, subjecting e-cigarettes to the same tax increase. So that line right there was the one that just kind of got me there. That's the one, right? So I mean, but I like your point though, right? Again, make sure that everything's included. But
yeah, so the thing for me, like generally speaking, is I'm not about paying more government folks to administer government stuff. So if we gotta not only add a tax but then we gotta hire people, you gotta pay people to do that work to, you know, collect that tax and administer that. It's generally something I'm not for. Like, I get the spirit. I think the spirit of the bill, it makes sense. You want to kind of reduce that. To Kyle's point, you want to reduce the cost on society of folks who are getting sick, and then we got to care for them via other taxes, etc. And because we're good people, I mean, I appreciate caring for others. Don't get me wrong, but when you start adding more and more administrivia to, you know, an already heavy system, then I'm sort of like, maybe again, that's not a good idea. So I got to educate myself more in the next few days on that before I actually vote on it. But, you know, I tend to want to avoid more red tape and more burden on a system where I think we're already, you know, paying enough taxes and probably could reallocate some of that to these to the intended goals of this particular item. So I don't know. I'm very wishy-washy on this one.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to be, because I am too. The argument against 56 says that only 13% of the new tax money goes to treat smokers or to stop kids from starting. 82% of it goes to the insurance companies and other wealthy special interests. No, that's the people arguing against it, or saying that whether that's true or whether their stats are true or not. Their argument is persuasive. So anyway, so I'll read more on this one as well. I just think if you want to get something effective and you know, going, I don't know how much a pack of cigarettes costs. Maybe it's $3 or $4, but it sounds like the tax might be like as much as the cost of the product.
Yeah,
that seems crazy.
Some lady, some lady in line in front of me. I want to say it's like $6 or something.
Okay.
I was getting some popsicles or something like that the other day, and the lady in front of me was like, "Oh, can you go to the special area and get me a pack of whatever?" And she said no because it was so much money. She wanted like 2 packs, and it was like over $10. I want to say. Anyway, it's a lot.
Yeah.
So, but still, another $2 on top of that. That's a lot of money.
And again, Starbucks, but
if that money is going towards programs that don't have a bunch of administration costs, like Lance said, and it's going to go towards something that's going to benefit all of us by decreasing medical care costs and smoking cessation programs, and it makes sense. But it sounds like that's 13% of this tax goes to that, if that number is accurate. So anyway, all right.
Awesome. So I will kind of wrap it up and close on this statement. Lance, we had already talked about, I don't know if you've seen this, if you've been online, like on Facebook or anything of that nature, but they've actually done a really good job this election cycle, and they've put together tool. Go to facebook.com/elections/yourplan, and it's location specific to where you are, and you can actually look at all of the propositions, look at all the people that are running for an office, look at a summary of the pros, cons, yeses, and the nos, and see those arguments, and kind of make your selection there. You can make it private, or you can make it public, or whatever the case may be, and you save that off, and you can actually print that and take that with you to your polling place. So there are resources that are out there that folks have a lot of access to. So kudos and shouts out to Facebook for putting that together, because again, so many people are on that social platform. But other than that, the goal of tonight was really to gather some folks together, have a dialogue around what's happening. Again, there's so much happening from election cycle perspective, and so many varying degrees of conversation, independents, Republicans, Democrats, this and this, and makes sense to be educated on what you pull the ballot, what you pull the lever for. You can't complain if you don't vote, so you definitely got to get out there and vote, make your voice heard, let the youngsters see that you've actually exercised this right as well, that so many people have fought, bled, cried, and died for. This particular election cycle is nothing to play with as well. We've got a lot of tough decisions, so as many people that make their voice heard, the better. Outside of that, in closing, I'll start with you, Kyle. You got anything that you wanted to close with as well?
I just, I'm glad that we're able to put this together. This is, what it does is, while I'm not an expert after tonight, it gets me further motivated to make sure the next few days up until Tuesday that I do some more research, because I want to be an educated voter. And I wish a lot more people did as well. So thanks for getting us set up on this video conference. It's been a great, it's been a fun way to do this too.
Definitely. Lance.
Hey, I'm just glad I saw you post that you guys were hanging out. I only caught a little bit of it, but actually my takeaway is I think I am going to try to take my kids with me so they can kind of see the process a little bit, and get engaged, see all the other people out there voting, and hopefully inspire them as they get older to be involved. I mean, James, this, and Kyle, I know you work in the community as well. You volunteer. You both are involved with your kids, and you present a good example. And I think this is just another way to do that, to show our children, our next generation, about how to be involved in our civic duties and give back to the community and be part of the solution, I guess. Don't just sit back and complain, but try to do something about it. So yeah, I'm glad I could step in here for a minute.
That's a good way to drop the mic right there, but God,
yeah.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, Lance Gilliland is in the building. So, in closing, Kyle made a statement that probably our next ITN Live Infotainment Live session
more important. Yes.
Yeah, more importantly, after the election, we should do a session about what is that there? That the St. Archer Mosaic IPA. So,
yes.
We're a microbrew capital of the country here in Northern California. So we need to. You be all right, Lance? There, if I have some drinks on, Kyle, Kyle, I'll tell you the story later. He was not happy with me one time. We were interviewing, I think, an Olympian, I think, right? Was this during the Olympics? And
it might have been, but you know, if you're doing a special show on the topic, I mean, you know, you're gonna have to do that.
You're gonna have to put those rules out ahead of time, there, right? 'Cause I can't have my scotch and things like that nature and out here when I'm trying to interview folks. And
one of our assistant coaches is doing a beer tour over the next few days, so I'm inspired.
Let's do it.
Where's the tour?
He was hitting up I know Russian River Brewing Company.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find the email here.
I'm trying to think where else. What else is it? Petaluma's got some, and Russian River, and
I don't see that on my calendar yet. Hold on, let me make sure I'm
yeah, we didn't get the invite. We weren't on the short list. He said he was going to miss practice, and he had to.
Important business.
Lagunitas, Russian River.
Oh, nice.
Bear Republic.
Very nice.
And they're going to Knee Deep as well this weekend. So there's quite a few there.
Nice.
I know 805 is not that far away.
Yeah, we'll chat after we get off the line here. We'll have a private DM session. It all goes down to the DMs, everybody. We'll talk about that. Gentlemen, have a great night. Thank you very much for your time.
All right. Again, thanks.
Hicks New Media, Infotainment News Live. Check us out, subscribe, give us your feedback, and hopefully you'll join us again. We'll continue to do these sessions. Hope it was valuable to you. Provide some feedback and comments. And thanks again for those who joined.
Thank you.